It's big jackpot. Let's make sure all cylinders are clicking, or we're clicking on all cylinders. Let's just make sure everything is where it's supposed to be at before we had this talk. Cause today is gonna get kind of real. Today is going to we gonna touch base. If you guys are free May 30th, the we wear the mask. It's a, brotherhood meeting. I've been to a couple of them myself. If you are in the Detroit area on May 30th from 9 to 12 p.m., 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., we wear mask is a dope. It's a dope meeting with a bunch of good brothers. 32 Joy Road. Um, Shout out to Desi Johnson. Desi, a good guy. Shout out to Desi, Mr. Andre Charlie, and Mr. Fred Belk. I will be there. My good brother Antoine will be there. Like we are building something great in the city of Detroit. Don't believe the hype. So I wanted to make sure y'all got an invite to that. If you are on my Facebook page, I did just share that on my personal Facebook page, and you can follow some of those brothers. We like to talk about very important thing to men, and we it's a very honest room, and that's important as a man. I recently started relationship counseling, and I haven't been in there long enough to say that that actually works, but I like the fact that I have somewhere to actually talk to someone about what I'm going through. I talk to a couple of my friends sometimes, but I don't have anybody I could just talk to. And then it's somebody in the middle that I don't have to talk behind Lily's back. I can actually say, hey, this is what's going on. And to be honest, I don't see us getting to the altar without that. I have decided to be a lot more forthcoming in my personality, my things, my music. So this week I had a situation with Lily, and I didn't even want to talk. I really didn't want to talk. And I came in and I sat down and wrote a song, and it just felt therapeutic to me. And I realized what I've been missing. I got a lot of songs done, but I wasn't comfortable releasing a project. I haven't released a project in like 3 years. And to be honest, I wasn't comfortable releasing a project because it didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like I was being honest. I was being very um not necessarily fake, but I was holding back a lot. And it's just not me. Even with the social media, I'm holding back a lot. I am trying to cater to her feelings and cater to some of the things that she feel like is, inappropriate or something. I might say, but with me, I feel like I have a good gauge on what's appropriate or inappropriate. I found myself catering to feelings instead of just being myself, and I realized where it all started from. Um, so it all started from like when I first came home. I did a song called "Like That," and it was like kind of like it was a little raunchy, and her response was, "So you gonna make a song about threesomes and all of this instead of whatever?" And it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way artistically, and I found myself like ducking most of the personal things, the hard questions, and it began to be a little like it like strangled me artistically because I have always used music as my diary. And I just touching on that as we talk about the men meeting, the brotherhood meeting on the 30th of this month. Listen, y'all, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 3 hours where you can come and express yourself. We really need this as men. We hold things in and we put a lot of stuff on our back. And me writing that song this week, it actually just it felt like a release. And me having people like these brothers to actually talk to. I actually talk to Antoine kind of regularly, and I'm able to express myself, and he understand, and vice versa. And I help him with some of the things that he deal with his business and his program. And he actually helped me build out the Real Life XP program. He was in one of my first cohorts, and it was great just being able to build with my brother. But I just wanted to say that to all of the men. I will talk more about this maybe even later today. I have a counseling session today, a therapy session today. It may come at a later date. It will be soon, but we need to start talking about what we're actually going through. We are fighting a lot of these things alone, and we don't have to. I want to say to all of my brothers, y'all be strong, man. We don't have to carry the world on our back. And as I'm preparing to go back to school and pursue my doctorate degree, I want to pursue it in the most honest and um, forthcoming fashion that I can pursue it in. I don't want to be anything but real. And as I'm writing new music and doing new things online, I want to be completely honest with me as a person and what I'm going through in life. And I want to invite y'all to that space. Once again, I'm going to give y'all the address. The address is 3232 Joy Road. And if you're going through something, y'all, we carrying a weight, especially to the black brothers. We think that any type of therapy or counseling is weak. And I am talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant moving forward in this video, but I wanted to touch base on this so you understand why I feel the way I feel about what she did and what she's continuing to do. My brothers, once again, the Brotherhood Breakfast and Meetup is at 3232 Joy Road on May 30th of this year. And if you are in the Detroit area or close to it, I'm telling you, reach out to me on Facebook if you have any questions or you have any concerns. But you want to be in rooms like this where you're able to be yourself without wearing the mask. We need to be around people that allow us to be ourselves and to be transparent without wearing the mask. Now, it doesn't mean you need to run around dumping on everyone, but it's okay to speak about what you're really going through. You don't have to be a superhero and you don't have to wear a cape. We have real things that are a part of our life, and we need to talk about that with people that actually understand it. We have some of the brothers are actually licensed counselors. I have an MBA, but I am not a counselor. I do understand certain things about life because I lived a lot of it, and I try to be respectable of people's feelings. Sometimes I'm a bit harsh, but I am definitely open ear even without having to attend this meeting. But we need to do things like this a lot more often so we can speak with each other, so we can help each other because the internet, it doesn't care about how we feel. The internet doesn't want to hear how we feel. The most people in our life want us to be so strong that we are not able to say, hey, I'm going through something right now. And I've always written music that was like dear to my heart, that was honest and transparent. And the last few years I've taken to just writing music. It sound good, but it hasn't really moved me the way a lot of my other projects have moved me. I haven't felt compelled to write the way that I used to write because I'm always finding myself, considering how somebody else feels, and I've never felt like that before. I've always felt like I had the space to be me, the space to be creative, and the space to be honest. And this we wear the mask, the brotherhood breakfast and meetup is very good for that. I've went to a couple of them myself, as I stated, and I just want y'all to tap into stuff like this as we need to address some of the things that we're going through mentally and why we feel like we need to run the drugs, alcohol, and different things like that. I want to make sure that all of my brothers understand where I'm coming from. And just letting you know, man, if you need to talk, you're not being weak. You have the right to express yourself how you need to express yourself. You do not have to carry around the sins and burdens of the world on your back and on your shoulders. Now, I want to talk to the people who watched me take up for Dr. Cheyenne Bryant just a couple months ago. I was saying that some of the things that she said was true, whether she was married or not. And I was saying that a lot of the criticism online was not, it was not necessarily healthy. But I never I never cared about her doctorate degree because I hadn't looked into that or gave any type of time to that or researched that. But a week or so ago, it may be closer to 2 weeks now, she went on a Joe Budden podcast and they asked her about her announcing that she would continue giving advice without a license. I don't want to say it's coaching or therapy because there are legal ramifications for using certain words, but I do want to say that she said that she's not going to pursue her license or relicensing moving forward because one of the only benefits was being able to charge insurance. Now, I watched some of that interview and I was already a little thrown off. So, if you have any type of licensing or anything that's regulated by a board or something similar, it's a reason for that. There's a reason that there's a CFPB, there's a reason that there are other government agencies that license particular um studies or particular fields, because there are a lot of rules and regulations that are that have to be followed in those fields. So for somebody to tell me that they no longer want to be licensed, it shows that they don't want to be held accountable for certain actions. And if somebody is not licensed, then you risk a lot of the things that the licensing board protects. So if a person is unlicensed, they're not worried about being held accountable a certain way. So I was already alert. My antennas went up because I'm, who doesn't want to be licensed? If I've actually looked into licensing for being a coach. Like, who doesn't want to be licensed, even though you don't have to be licensed to be a coach? I actually looked it up because I wanted to know, okay, this is how they train you. They can show you what's ethical and what's not ethical. You know what's legal and not legal, what kind of language you should use, what you shouldn't use, what kind of promises you can make, what you should stay away from. And I wanted to actually look this up, and I did, and I looked it up, and it is a international certified coaching board or something, international coaching federation or something, ICF. And there are other entities that are accredited through this coaching federation or coaching board, whatnot, and they have programs that are accredited, and you can get hours towards your coaching certificate. Now, when you talk about something as serious as therapy, it is a highly regulated field, and for somebody to duck certification or to duck licensing or to duck any type of oversight, it's a reason for that. And it's not just because you want to charge the person's medical insurance. Now, is it anything illegal with that? No. There is nothing illegal about you not wanting to deal with a board, or you not wanting to deal with being certified, or you not wanting to deal with being licensed. It depends on what you're doing and what state you're doing it in, and the rules that govern that state in that particular field. Now, this situation was a little wild and a little difficult for me to understand, because she said that she's been practicing and doing therapy for, at the time, it was 18 years, 17 years, I believe. This was a year or so ago. So I'm assuming that it's been about 18 years that she's been a therapist. Now she's using the word coach, but there were dozens of interviews where she threw around the word therapist, which could be misleading if you are not licensed. And if you're just a coach that does not require licensing, then you are misleading the public, and you're probably charging more than a coach would charge for the same thing. Now, after all of that talk and the fact that she didn't want to um go through licensing again, or be licensed, um another interview in the last day or two came up from the Breakfast Club. Now, on this interview with the Breakfast Club, she was asked about her dissertation. If you're not familiar, when you receive a doctorate degree, your dissertation is available publicly, um, and people could look it up. It's there for research. Dissertation is a bunch of research. I think I have some. Listen, I promise this wasn't on purpose. So, I actually took this out of my briefcase last night, and it was on my desk, because I was at my office, but it was on my home desk. But this is actual research that I'm doing on what I'm going back to school for, and my dissertation. Right, I'm actually doing research on my dissertation. I don't want to talk too much about what it is, because I don't want people stepping on my toes. But you have to introduce some idea and you have to research it. So I am preparing to go back for my PhD. As you can see, this is a photo. Like honestly, this something that I brought from my office. I was working on this at my office, and this is actually just my conceptual paper. This is me like doing minor research on what I actually want to research for my dissertation. And well, it's like this is me studying entrepreneurial growth and stagnation. If you don't know, I'm an entrepreneur acceleration coach. So I want to go to school and I want to study what character traits and different things propel entrepreneurial growth and stagnation. And it's a lot. Like it's literally a lot. This is not a dissertation, y'all. This is me doing minor research to make sure that what I actually want to study is viable before I start school. Now I still have to go through talking to my to the counselors and the advisors at the school about this because some things may be changed, but I've actually taken the time to look into what I want to do my dissertation on. Now, that's a very important part of your doctoral degree. You know what I'm saying? So, um, if you are claiming that you attended school. Now, I don't have my doctorate yet. I'm not even in the program yet. I'm literally preparing. Listen, y'all. I'm just keeping it 1,000 because I have things in here. So I put these online a week or two ago, whatever. But I actually bought GMAT books so I can study for the GMAT. I was given a basically you supposed to take a GMAT before the MBA, but they waived me actually needing a GMAT score because my GPA was 3.9. I ain't stunting in front, it just is what it is. So I graduated from my bachelor's program with a 3.9 and they told me I could skip the lines. You can see this is new. I just bought this. This says 2025, 2026, right? So they told me that I could skip the line basically in order to get my master's in 2020. I graduated in 23 with the bachelor. So going into 23, and I got my master's in 24. But basically, I could skip the line because my grade point average was 3.9. And I think I needed a 3.5 to be able to do that. So I ended up, and this is all that I'm not stunting in front of y'all. I'm just, because this is not even my real degree. I basically made copies for my room. I have these put up, but this is a copy of the actual degree. This is my bachelor's that I got in 23 from Wayne State University. And I have a bachelor's in business management. I have an associate's. My associate's is in okay, y'all, it's acting crazy. Okay, my associate's is in business administration, and I have a copy of my master's degree over here. I'm just making sure that the people who don't know me and don't know what I'm about, this is the a copy of my master's degree. I actually have the real one. As you can see, it's lines and stuff in a copy. This is a photocopy of the actual degree. I have 4 kids running around, and when I printed these out, I didn't have the closed in space I have. My kids had access to my office at the time. So this is my master's, right? So it's just a MBA. MBA means Masters of Business Administration. And let me put these up. I'm just kicking it with y'all for a minute. So as you can see, I actually have degrees. I actually have a paralegal certificate somewhere too. I might not have put that one up when I moved into this office, but I have these degrees. And the master's degree, there are two concentrations. One is business marketing, I'm sorry, business management, and the other is entrepreneurship and innovation. So the MBA is, once again, it is a master's in business administration, and I have two concentrations. One is entrepreneurship and innovation, and one is business management. I am being as transparent as possible for a reason here. Dr. Bryant has still not really stated what her master's degree is in or where she got it from. She did state in her um, biography that she attended the University of Phoenix. I don't want to dog the University of Phoenix because I didn't go to an Ivy League school either. I went to Wayne State University's Mike Ilitch School of Business, and it's a physical school off of Woodward, um, on your way downtown. It's like right next to the arena. It's a real school. It's actually fully accredited. It's a pretty good business school. If you're not familiar with who Mike Ilitch is, Google him. So I'm just giving you the credentials to talk about how I feel about education before people start to make all of these weird comments on the video, or they feel like they want to defend Dr. Bryant or anyone else. Listen, this lady has ran around for close to 2 decades claiming to be something that she's obviously not. We're watching these videos and we're watching her try to wiggle her way out of all of the lies that she's told over the course of 20 years. This is a very public figure who has lied. Now, there are other people who have been vocal about only having um, their doctorate degree is not necessarily in something. You see a lot of the marketing people, oh, I'm doctor such and such and doctor this, and their doctorate degrees are honorary. What honorary means is a school decided that you've done such a great job in whatever your field is that they want to honor you with this doctorate degree. What the problem is there are a lot of that they call these places degree mills. And so these places, they are selling doctoral degrees, and they are selling these honorary doctorate degrees to people who have done little to nothing. Basically, you may have a social media following, and they want you to promote their school, basically. So if they give you an honorary doctorate degree, and then you go online, hey, I received my honorary doctorate degree from such and such, they have other people who are, how do I get one? And then they're charging them $5,000, $10,000 for these honorary doctorate degrees. So it turned into this hustle. These are not accredited colleges or institutions. These are just degree mills. The school that she claims she went to doesn't appear to be a degree mill. In fact, the school seemed to be they tried to do the real thing. They just maybe lost accreditation. They maybe lost some type of credit, just in being, um, an online school that didn't, people weren't taking serious, or maybe the curriculum didn't fit what the degree was, supposed to be in, or what was needed to actually be considered a professional in that degree, whatever the situation may be. It appears that that school it closed. And she explained that the school closed and she was trying to get her transcripts to apply at a law school to teach law, or at a college to teach law. And she could not retrieve her transcripts. And in not being able to retrieve her transcripts, she ended up talking to the student loan people, and they said, you owe, listen, I owe a bankroll in student loans. I owe a bankroll in student loans. So I get it. What what she's trying to say is that they said, "Hey, we know you owe us, but it will forgive the debt because the school closed if you're willing to wipe out the whatever classes you took, whatever credits you got from this school." And she said, "No, because I did that." Now, I am not going to say that this woman did not attend this college or this institution. What I'm clearly going to state is that she didn't finish her doctoral studies. She did not finish. What I'm clearly going to say is this woman is not a doctor by any means, unless she has an honorary degree, and she should say that. Now, for the people who are defending her, that is what I want to address. It's nothing anywhere that states that this woman is a doctor by any means. That does not include her being licensed or not licensed, because the way she's talking, she's never really been licensed. She said, I could just do, or I could just, she's not saying what she has done in the past to say that, hey, I haven't had to prove that I had this degree before, so I wasn't worried about it. I went and got a license with just my master's degree because all I had to do was study these 200 hours and pass a certain exam. She's not saying that. She's saying all I would have to do, and you got to listen to the words that she's saying. The devil is in the details. She's saying all she'd have to do. She's not saying all I've done in the past. She's given us no type of proof that she's ever been licensed. That's what we're looking over for the most part. Now, for the men and women defending this young lady, you're the bigger problem because there are people like her all over the world. You may know a couple of them on your block. You may know some in your house. You may know a couple of them in your family. But there are people like her who make it bad for people like me. When you think about my history, I'm a person that's been in the system since I was 10 years old. Foster homes, boys' homes, juveniles, state prison, federal prison. And I'm a person that worked my way up through these degrees. Associate's degree in 2019, bachelor's degree in 2021, master's degree in 2023. I'm sorry, bachelor's degree in 2023, master's degree in 2024. And I'm currently looking to apply for the PhD program. I'm somebody that takes education serious. I had a 4.0 as my associate's degree. I had a 3.9 at my bachelor's. I had a 3.8 at I'm not in school just working my behind off to get some paperwork. I'm actually a high performer. I believe in taking it to the max. If you're going to be here the right way. So when I hear somebody say, hey, I had X amount of credits or I did X amount of work and I'm not able to, I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS, and it's a reason that I'm calling BS. And I'm telling you, I'm getting there, and I'm not gonna keep y'all much longer. Give me about 10 to 15 more minutes. I'm calling BS for this reason. There are some little girls somewhere who follow this lady, and they may be in school, high school, they may be in college, associates, bachelors, and they follow this lady. And at some point, it may get hard. And instead of them saying, I have to finish this. I have to thug this out. They're going to run across a bunch of Cheyenne Bryants. And that means it's going to be a bunch of people who try to tell them, hey, you can trick the system. You don't need to do the right thing. You can trick the system. Look at me. I'm successful at tricking the system. Now, they turn things, and the Stormy lady did the same thing. The Stormy Wellington lady did the same thing just about a month or so ago when the FTC or somebody tried to sue her and she copped out, and it never said that she was right, but she promoted it as, look, I beat the case, y'all. They just trying to hold a sister down. No, that is somebody else telling you that you can trick the system. That is somebody else telling you that you can cheat the game, and that is somebody else who's setting you up for failure. It's a right way to do things and it's a wrong way to do things. This woman has lied to the whole world for 2 decades. And I don't know how much she knows about psychology, but I'm almost willing to bet that there is a psychological explanation for what she's done over the past 2 decades. And the fact that even though she's caught up, she's definitely caught up now. Even though she's caught up, she is still trying to figure out a lie to cover up the truth. That is a problem. That is a serious problem. And once again, there's a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is the people who's defending her every chance they get. It's the people who watching this video who's going to say, oh, you just hating on her. Or try to bring, why are you talking about this woman and she's a sister and our sister? Listen, I'm for the right thing. If it's a righteous cause, I'm all for it. I don't have to propagate BS. I don't have to co-sign BS. I don't have to look the other way when it's BS. I'm all for my people. and I want the best for my people. And in wanting the best for my people, I understand that we need real examples of success and not this make believe internet, social media, reality TV type of success. We need people that are serious about education, literature, the arts, and different things that used to be so meaningful and impactful to us culturally. We are dealing with people who put on for the internet, and then they charge us for information that they don't really have access to. Um they're literally making us feel bad for not having. They're literally making us feel like we're less than because I only got 100,000 followers on my social media and she got 5 million followers. But get your weight up. That's all good, but it's not real. And if it's not real, it don't last long. It don't last long. So with people who say, well, black people, listen, I have also stated that Napoleon Hill, who wrote some of the greatest literature on self-help, like considered like the godfather of self-help. And Napoleon Hill was found out to be a fraud. Napoleon Hill made up stories, made up relationships, made up all kind of stuff to put in these books to make himself seem important or like he knew certain people and he didn't have a clue. But it doesn't negate the fact that the information within the books were very helpful, meaningful, and pertinent to different parts of the lifestyle that was being lived then. Now you have some of that with Cheyenne Bryant. And I'm not saying doctor on purpose. Respect comes when respect is earned. And I don't see any reason to call her anything but her government name. Now, it's up to us to decipher whether the information that has been, I don't want to say promoted, the information has been spread. That's the word. The information has been spread across different social media platforms. And the recordings of her actually talking about being a therapist. Is this is this so important? I mean, the therapist coach thing. Now, legal ramifications are definitely in place for her claiming to be a therapist. But does that mean the advice is bad? Does that mean we shouldn't consider anything that she said up to now? I don't feel like it's that type of situation, but I would like to expound on the fact that she's considered herself a doctor for 2 decades. She even called her supporters the doc squad. So this is something that she relies heavily on, not just in marketing. I'm telling you, it's a mental thing. It's something that she's using to put herself above other people. Doc, they're saying, Doc, you, Doc. You see the interview. This is something that she stands on. And I'm not mad at her. If you were a real, doctorate recipient, I get it. But the fact that you do that and you're being caught up is kind of mm, it's kind of crazy for real, right? I'm saying it's kind of crazy that you rely so heavily on this title and to find out that you don't rightfully deserve the title, you haven't earned the title. If you watching this and you know the psychological term for this, then post it in the comments for me. If you know the psychological term for somebody, this is no different than Catch Me If You Can. Have you ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can? It's a straight con artist. This woman is a con artist. That's it. She's a con artist. And bigger than her being a con artist, we have a problem with taking up for this. I don't know if it's, I see them talking about pretty privilege and pretty punishment and all of that. She's definitely a decent looking woman, but you not the coldest thing. You not, it's just not that. It's not that. I'm not being like, you know what I mean? I'm decent myself, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying that I'm not taking away from, but I'm just saying there were way prettier girls who were not uh blasted, right? I'm just saying her. So don't think it's because you're pretty. When you put yourself so high on a pedestal and you act like, because you're educated, you're above, and then they find out that you're not really that educated, or you haven't really earned the certificates and the titles and things that you want to put in your name. What's so wrong with that? What's so wrong with people saying, hey, you're not who you say you are? In fact, we should be holding our people accountable. It don't mean that we got, oh, you can cancel culture. Listen, but it means that we should, for her to do what she's done over the past 20 years, she feel like y'all fools. She laughing in y'all face. She's laughing in y'all face. My God, JT, what's up? He said, I knew she had some. That's a complex. Listen, JT. So I don't know, man. If you can look it up real quick, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up too. So for somebody to be lying over the course of 20 years, um, I got to look this up, y'all. It's got to be something psychological. I can't diagnose her, but it's got to be some clinical term for this because you got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. Like it's something. They do have some clinical terms. They call you pseudologia fantastica, a condition characterized by the chronic telling of dramatic, detailed, and complicated lies, often aimed at achieving admiration, sympathy, or creating a false image of success. What? That's crazy. And when it go down to it, it's a narcissistic tendency. That's what it is. Um, oh my God. Somebody just text me. Is it narcissistic? That's crazy. So somebody just text me, is it narcissistic? Shout out to Dahlia. Hey Dahlia, thank you for tapping in. It's definitely narcissistic. I don't know if that would be the clinical term for it though, but it's definitely narcissistic. And it's sad. It's sad because we deserve better. We deserve better leadership. We deserve better representation, and we deserve better. Just we just deserve better as a people, y'all. We have so many great leaders. If you think about it, sports players weren't who we considered the leaders in our communities before. Rappers weren't who we considered the leaders in our communities before. We had poets and great writers and it was like educators and people who who showed that they deserved to lead and who would lead with responsibility, not these selfish, I just want my money people. And it's sad that people take up for it because it's once again us looking bad and not holding these people accountable. Everyone needs to be held accountable. These people that's getting away with ganking people, frauding them, selling them programs and things they know don't work, all of that. Like we need to hold these people accountable, and people have to stop thinking, "Oh, I don't want to look like a hater. Oh, I don't want to look like a fool." No, if somebody's doing something that's outside of the righteous thing to do, then they need to be held accountable. They got to be held accountable. We got to stop defending Cheyenne Bryant and just the other Cheyenne Bryants of the world, and we got to say, hey, we don't deserve this. Hey, we're not stupid. We're not a fool. We have to say this, or they're going to constantly take advantage of us. And this looks so bad on us because she's still talking about she's getting booked, and even if she's not a licensed therapist, right? Even if she's not claiming to be one, I'll take her not claiming to be a licensed therapist. But for you to completely falsify information, I'm not trusting any type of documentation that you bring to me. I'm not trusting anything you say that I should do or we could do. I just can't trust it because you're a pathological, systematic, habitual liar. Like I can't trust anything that you say. I don't know if what you pulling off the cuff. I don't know what you making up. I don't got a clue. Now, it's been about 40 minutes. I love y'all, man, and I just want to make sure y'all get out of here. And I greet y'all to the door. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Y'all follow me on all social media at Chosen One Jackpot. Lock in with me. I will be available the rest of the week, but during the weekend, I will be pretty busy. If you have any questions, shoot me a text if you got the number. If not, just shoot me a message online and we can go over some of this information. And if it's something that you disagree with, we can talk about that too. I hope to see y'all soon.